Everybody loves Converse, but everyone also hates how fast they fall apart. So what would it look like if you took every aspect of a pair of Converse and made it out of the toughest and most durable materials without removing some of the best values of Converse, like it being lightweight, breathable, and that old school look? That's what we try to do with these sock eaters. So we're gonna cut these in half, already did, and run through our test to really see how we tried to make them more durable than Converse, more comfortable, and better than Converse in every single way, why they're called sock eaters, and why every single pair of these is a blank canvas that will actually tell your unique story based off of how you live, what you do, your hobbies. And it is a little cheesy, but wait till you see what the employees did with the pairs that Goral gave them in preparation for this video. Because I think you'll be shocked at how unique and how many different ways you can use this sock eater as a blank canvas. So how did we try to make them durable? Well, by using literally the heaviest canvas we could find in the entire world. It's 32 ounces. And just to put that in perspective, Converse or Vans, usually around 8 ounces, anywhere from like 0.6 millimeters to 0.8 millimeters. One layer of this alone, this 32 ounce canvas, is 1.5 millimeters thick. That's as thick as the upper limits of what you see in most sneakers leather. And this is not sneaker material. This stuff was usually used in conveyor belts in industrial settings like bakeries and big heavy duty old school equipment like we have in the shop. They also use this canvas for military gear, including tents and equipment covers, where durability is absolutely vital. But it is a dying material. You almost can't find it anymore, and there's only a handful of people that still make it this thick, and that's because with the development of synthetic materials like ballistic nylons over the last few decades, the demand for just a really heavy cotton canvas has slowly declined, and this stuff is tough to make. The looms that make this are absolutely ridiculous. It's the exact same story we saw in the really heavy Naked and Famous denim. Same concept with these, just not nearly as thick. But does it actually perform in a different way? Well, we did the puncture test on normal canvas, and it took 7 or 8 pounds to puncture through. The sock eater canvas punctured through at 83 pounds. So like 10 times as puncture resistant. We did the abrasion test, super scientific, held the strip up against the sander. Normal canvas lasted around 3 seconds. Sock eater canvas lasted 6+ seconds. We even did like a tear strength test. So the normal canvas tore through at about 130 pounds. The sock eater canvas, 575 pounds. And that's just one layer of this canvas. And that's why these are still breathable. We did the breathability test, and you can see it's maybe not the most breathable shoe, but it's a lot more breathable than the leather smugs that we've done. And to test if these are actually cooler than a pair of leather smugs, we did the hot sock challenge where for this one, I wanted to see how much heat was being pulled from the inside of the shoe to the outside and how much was being retained in the leather sneakers. So here's the temperature results. So you can see it definitely offlets a lot of that heat because it's just one layer of heavy canvas compared to leather that really traps that heat in. So with all those test results, this material even blew me away. I knew it was gonna be cool and durable and stuff, but 575 pounds to puncture through, this project almost didn't happen because of how thick and how durable and how difficult it is to work with this material. We almost couldn't even make sneakers out of it. But what about the inside? And we got these cut in half prematurely because you've probably already seen the inside of smugs before. And this, I just want to really show you guys how we did this. And why are they called sock eaters? Well, because this material is so thick and so like gritty that I was concerned that if it was just one layer of this all the way around on the inside, it would literally wear your socks out, especially in the high area spots like in your heel and in your toes where everyone wears out their socks. And so it's completely unlined, and it's just that one layer of canvas, except for in those high wear spots at the heel and the toe, where we lined it with some leather, just to not literally wear out your socks. And it also gives us some structure and some additional durability, while still keeping the majority of the inside of the shoe that breathable, heavy canvas. As for the other parts of the inside, you got your regular insole that Goral sends it with, that's leather topped. And then the construction is your classic Goral construction with that veg tan lasting material that's Blake stitch, where the upper's tucked underneath and sews all those materials together, versus Converse and your other vulcanized style of shoes, whether it's Vans or any of those. They're literally just strips of rubber that are heat fused together, and then after like a few months of wear, they immediately start delaminating and falling apart. This is built more like a boot, and that's why I call them smugs, sneakers made using good shit. And the value of this veg tan insole is it breaks in the shape of your foot, giving that glove-like footprint in your shoe. It's a lot easier to resole because of how durable leather is compared to any synthetic, and it doesn't stink nearly as much as synthetics. And if you own a pair of Converse, they probably stink. But at the same time, there's some heavy downsides you have to consider with this style of construction and this canvas compared to Converse. Because these do take a break-in period. It's almost like breaking in a pair of boots, because this canvas is so thick and it's so hard and rigid. It takes about a week of wear before it really starts to feel how it's supposed to feel. In the first wear, it's a little rough. You kind of have to earn the right to wear a pair of the Sockeaters. And with the leather lining in the toe and the heel, it's gonna be maybe a little less breathable than the Converse. I still think with a single layer, it's gonna surprise you how breathable they are based off of the amount I've worn them, as you can see from my really worn pair. And because of this insole and the way it's constructed, you do lose a lot of that flexibility and that malleability and that really flat feel that you get in Converse that you won't get from these. So you lose a little bit of that Converse comfort by maxing out the points and the durability stats. So what did we do to try to mitigate that and kind of round that off? The legendary Lactae Avea sole. This is my absolute favorite outsole for sneakers. It's like walking on an amber cloud. And it's super soft and squishy. It's 35 Shore A. It's made of pure Lactae Avea natural rubber sap. And there are pros and cons to this as well because it is ridiculously comfortable, it's super flexible, has tons of good grip, it's a natural material, it's really quiet, it doesn't squeak and click around, it has really good shock absorption, as you can see from the ball drop test and the bar drop test. But the downsides are it's ridiculously pricey. It's literally twice the price of basically any other outsole out there that's a cup sole for sneakers. They're also not gonna be as durable as a really hard, heavy outsole because it's soft and it's a natural rubber and it has a tendency to slough off. But that's why, to me, it was vital to put this on an easily resolable shoe because this is still gonna last, I would say it probably lasts twice as long as a pair of Converse. But when you have the ability to resole these, you just slap a new outsole on and your upper's already broken in, you got all the aging and patina on it or whatever you ended up doing to them, and you get double the life out of your shoe. And Goral has made their name with this Blake stitch and the ability to resole their shoes. And you can even compare the puncture tests. The Sockeater Smugs puncture through at 175, and the Converse with both layers this time puncture through at like 15 or 20 pounds. But now let's roll the cutting footage and I'll show you how crazy the employees got with this because Goral hooked up some of the employees to wear these and customize them because it's literally blank canvas and the shoe's a blank canvas, and how can we not use the blank canvas branding even though it's a little cheesy? So now let's cut them in half. Why does nobody sell colorful leather laces? I don't know either. That's why we tracked down the suppliers of the lace makers of some of the highest quality, most durable boots in the entire world. I was like, hey, what if you made some color laces for us? I want to customize my boots. One of my favorite things about boots and shoes is not just protecting your investment with some kilties, some insoles, and some laces, but it's fun to customize them. You know, the leather laces add a little flair, add a little customization. It's the same concept of like wearing a boot, developing that unique patina. Same thing, adding some kilties in, some laces. But like I said, it does protect your investment because if you've had a pair of high quality boots and put some like cotton laces through, that cotton will slowly abrade and wear down that brass eyelet, and that's why in these work boots you see almost exclusively leather laces, but they all look exactly the same. So that's why we released our rose anvil laces because they're trimmable. Leather's better for laces anyways because it has a little bit of stretch, it breaks in over time. They flex as you move rather than being super tight throughout the day. They don't melt if you're welding or around fires, and they just look cooler. So check out our rose anvil leather laces below and protect your investment, add a little character, a little pop of color, a little personalization to your boots. And thank you guys for supporting all these rose anvil boot and shoe accessories. It's a big part of what makes all this possible, so thank you guys. Check them out below. All right, we got them cut in half, and just like all of our collaborations, it's limited quantities. Get them before they're gone. We might do some more restocks of these, you never know. Check out the links in the description. There's a sizing guide, there's all the information you need, and those other Smugs videos are below if you want the idea of a Smugs, but not out of heavy canvas, out of some nice cordovan. Check them out below. So now, let's see what's inside. So now comparing this to a pair of the regular Smugs, you can see they're basically identical all the way through except for the upper materials. And now, my favorite part, let's go through all the employees and what they did to customize them, what they did to adjust them to get a little more utility out of them or adjust the utility. I think I'm gonna have the employees kind of describe what they did and why, because they also deserve some credit because they went all out. There's some really cool ones.
My name's Addie, and I decided to paint my Smugs because the canvas made sense to paint them. And I've been really inspired by textiles recently, and so I decided to go with kind of a quilt pattern.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. My name's Josh, and my wife and I worked on these together. I came up with the idea of dyeing it with beet juice. So we just bought a can of beets, opened it up, and then using a little paintbrush, we just applied it layer by layer over and over again.
Everybody, it's Melvin, and I put mine in coffee because I saw people on YouTube and Instagram putting their Air Force Ones in coffee, and I thought it was gonna look cool, and it did.
These are Skylar's shoes. He chopped up a bunch of cabbage and put some baking soda in with it, giving it this nice variation between the purple and the blues. And he left it, I think he left it overnight and then pulled it out. This is what they look like.
My name is Taylor, and I dyed my Sockeaters indigo using some pre-made Japanese indigo dye. And I think they turned out awesome.
My name is Micah. I embroidered mine. I just thought it'd be a cool material to embroider. I also put some paint on there just because it looked a little empty, so yeah.
I'm Brody. These are my Sockeaters. I just took Sharpies and drew on them and some leather dye and drew on it. Truly is a canvas.
My name's Keaton, and to customize my Smugs, I cut them in half so you can see what's inside.
I'm Jaron Wardle, and I customized my Smugs by putting on tactical patches. Cowabunga it is. Certified silly goose. Or, if you have a hard meeting at work that day and everything's a dumpster fire, this is fine.
It literally is a blank canvas. You can do anything from like painting to drawing to dyeing it to adding some functionality with like making a wax canvas sneaker to taking natural indigo, the most like heritage thing of all time, and dipping them into natural indigo. It didn't start off with this idea being a blank canvas. I just wanted a really heavy canvas sneaker that was like maxed out. But after realizing the potential in these, that's what really got me excited about this. And it makes me really interested to see what other people are gonna do to these to make them unique to them, how they're gonna wear, what they're gonna do to adjust them, sewing on little things here and there, panels. You know, the possibilities are endless. So if you guys do get a pair of these, start sending me pics of what you do, how they start wearing, because I don't think there's really ever been anything quite like this before. And half the fun with these collaborations is us pushing it to the limit and then seeing what you guys do with them. So huge shout out to Goral for not only being willing to try to make this, but actually committing to an entire batch of these, even though this is some of the toughest material you could make sneakers out of. And huge shout out to you guys for supporting our collaborations. That's what makes it possible for us to buy thousands and thousands of dollars of brand new stuff just to cut apart to show you what you're actually spending your hard-earned money on. It's what's allowing us to buy all the new testing equipment. These collaborations are really what make it all possible, and excited to see what you guys do with it. So thank you guys. See ya. Check them out below.